Hi every wise reader. Welcome to the next video from Read Wiser, a YouTube channel dedicated to helping you improve yourself through books. Today, we're diving into a true classic, a book that has shaped the mindset of millions, The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz.
What's the real difference between someone who earns $30,000 a year and someone who earns $300,000? Is it just raw intelligence? Is it family background or luck? Dr. David Schwartz argues it's none of those things. The primary, fundamental difference is the size of their thinking. He says, the size of your success is determined by the size of your belief. Most people are held back not by their innate ability, but by their self-imposed mental limits. This book is a practical manual for breaking those limits. It's about to show you that a few simple changes to your thought habits can radically change your entire life.
Published in 1959, The Magic of Thinking Big is a foundational self-help book that argues success is a habit of thought, not a product of genius. Schwartz, a professor and leadership consultant, observed that the most successful people he knew weren't necessarily the smartest, but they believed they could succeed, and they acted on that belief. The book's central thesis is that your mind is a thought factory with two foremen, a positive Mr. Triumph and a negative Mr. Defeat. Whichever one you give more work to will take over the factory and shape your reality. This book is the manual for firing Mr. Defeat and putting Mr. Triumph in charge, full-time. It's a step-by-step guide to upgrading your thinking, building confidence, curing fear, and developing the habits of a big thinker. So, how do we start? The first step is to build the foundation for all future success. The very first principle is that you must believe you can succeed. Schwartz says belief is the thermostat that regulates your achievement. If your thermostat is set low, you'll achieve little. If you set it high, you'll achieve great things. This isn't just wishful thinking. A deep, genuine I-can-do-it attitude generates the actual power, skill, and energy needed to find the how to do it. When you believe you can, your mind automatically starts figuring out solutions. Conversely, disbelief is a negative force. When you doubt, your mind attracts reasons to support that doubt, leading you directly to failure. The book gives 3 guides to build this power. First, think success, never failure. Second, regularly remind yourself you are better than you think you are. And third, believe big. Your belief must match the size of your goals. So the takeaway is that belief itself is the active ingredient that creates the path to success. But what happens when our belief is sabotaged by all the reasons we tell ourselves we can't succeed? That brings us to the most common disease of failure. Let's find out what it is in the next chapter. Schwartz identifies a mind-deadening thought disease called excusitis, the habit of making excuses for failure. The more successful a person is, the fewer excuses they make. To win, you have to cure yourself of its 4 common forms. First is health excusitis. People blame bad health. The cure? Refuse to talk about it, refuse to worry about it, and live by the motto, it's better to wear out than rust out. Second is intelligence excusitis, the I lack brains excuse. The cure here is to realize that your attitude is infinitely more important than your raw intelligence. Stickability, he says, is 95% of ability. Third is age excusitis, the I'm too old or I'm too young trap.
The cure is to see your age positively. A person at 40 still has 30 years or 60% of their productive life ahead. And fourth is luck excusitis. The cure is to accept the law of cause and effect. Success comes from preparation and planning, not a random roll of the dice. The key is to stop rationalizing failure and focus on finding reasons why you can. But even if you stop making excuses, there's a bigger, more powerful enemy that stops most people: fear. So how do we destroy it? Let's find out in the next chapter.
Fear is the #1 enemy of success. Schwartz calls it a psychological infection that can and must be cured. The single most important cure for fear is action. Hesitation and procrastination fertilize fear. But isolating your specific fear and taking prompt, decisive action will destroy it. Don't wait to be confident. Act, and confidence will follow. Another way to build confidence is to manage your memory bank. You must consciously deposit only positive thoughts and experiences. When you're alone, recall your victories, not your losses. Refuse to withdraw negative, self-deprecating memories. And finally, to cure the fear of other people, put them in proper perspective. They are important, but so are you. And remember that people who bark at you are often just expressing their own problems. Act confident. Sit in the front row, make eye contact, and walk 25% faster, and you will become confident. We've learned that confidence isn't a gift, it's a habit built on action and positive memory. So with this new confidence, how do we direct our minds? How do we actually think big? Let's find out in the next chapter.
Thinking big is a conscious practice. It starts by conquering the greatest human weakness, self-deprecation, or selling yourself short. You must measure your true size, identify your assets, and realize you are bigger than you think you are. The next step is to use a big thinker's vocabulary. Schwartz reminds us that we think in pictures, and our words create those pictures. Small thinkers use words like problem, failed, impossible, or difficult, which create negative images. Big thinkers use positive words. They say challenge instead of problem. They say, here's a new approach, instead of we failed. They use words that create mental images of victory and success. Finally, big thinkers add value by seeing what can be, not just what is. They visualize the potential in a customer, a project, or themselves. They don't get stuck in the present. They are mentally building the future. The takeaway is that we can upgrade our thinking by upgrading our vocabulary and our vision. This allows us to see potential everywhere. But how do we turn that potential into new, concrete ideas? Let's find out in the next chapter.
Creative thinking isn't just for artists or scientists. It's simply the practical skill of finding new, improved ways to do anything. The first step is to believe it can be done. When you believe a solution is possible, your mind is released to find it. When you believe it's impossible, your mind shuts down and proves you right. The second step is to fight tradition paralysis, that mind-freezing idea that it's always been done this way. A big thinker is an experimental person who is always open to new ideas. Finally, you can turn on your creative power by constantly asking two questions. First, how can I do better to improve the quality of your output? And second, how can I do more
to increase the quantity of your output. Schwartz reminds us that capacity is a state of mind. When you believe you can do more, your mind creatively finds ways to do it. Creativity, then, is a practical skill of belief and inquiry. By asking, "How can I do better?" you're already changing your mindset. But how does this internal mindset change the way the world sees you? Let's find out in the next chapter.
This is a critical concept. The way others treat you is a direct reflection of what you think of yourself. Your inner thoughts determine your outward actions, and those actions tell others how to treat you. To be treated as important, you must first genuinely think you are important. There are two primary ways to do this. First, look important. Your appearance is a tool that talks to both you and others. When you look your best, you think and feel your best. Schwartz's rule is pay twice as much and buy half as many to project quality. Second, think your work is important. If you believe your job is important, you'll receive mental signals on how to do it better, which leads to promotion. To build this self-respect, he suggests giving yourself a pep talk daily, or even creating a sell yourself to yourself commercial that lists your best assets and reading it every day. So our external reality is a mirror of our internal self-respect. We have to be important on the inside first. But what about the external forces? What about the people and places that influence us every day? Let's find out in the next chapter.
Just as your body is a product of the food you eat, your mind is a product of its mind food, your psychological environment. This environment includes the people you associate with, the media you consume, and the conversations you have. To succeed, you must make your environment work for you. This means you must develop a defense against negators, the negative, jealous, or defeated people who want to pull you down to their level. Instead, seek advice only from successful people. You must also avoid thought poison, which is the author's name for gossip. Gossiping is 100% wrong thinking that shrinks your mind by forcing it to focus on petty, negative things. Finally, the core rule for managing your environment is to go first class in everything you do. You cannot afford to go second class. It costs you more in the long run, and more importantly, it damages your self-respect. Your environment is your mind food, so you must protect it and go first class. This builds a foundation of positivity. But how do we use that positivity to work with people and get them on our side? Let's find out in the next chapter. Attitudes are the mirrors of the mind. They broadcast your inner thoughts to everyone around you. To be successful, you must make 3 specific attitudes your allies. First, grow the I'm activated attitude, or enthusiasm. You can't activate others unless you are activated yourself. You can build it by digging deeper to learn more about a subject, and by lifting up your physical actions, a firmer handshake, the bigger smile. Second, grow the you are important attitude. Every person has a deep hunger to feel important. When you satisfy that hunger in others, they will do more for you, and you'll boost your own importance too. Third, grow the service first attitude. Many people fail by putting money first, but the seed of money is service. When you focus on giving people more service than they expect, the money will naturally follow. These 3 attitudes, enthusiasm, making others feel important, and a service-first mindset, are your key allies. They change how people react to you. Now, let's build on that and learn how to proactively win people's support. Let's find out in the next chapter.
Success is impossible without the support of other people. You aren't pulled to success, you are lifted up by those around you. And to get that support, you must be lighter to lift, which means you must be likable. The first rule is to take the initiative in building friendships. Don't wait for others. Be the first to introduce yourself. Second, you must practice conversation generosity. Successful people monopolize the listening, while small-minded people monopolize the talking. Let the other person talk about themselves, and they will value you for it. Finally, you must control your mental broadcasting station. Your mind has a positive, channel P, and a negative, channel N. You must consciously tune in to channel P, which looks for the good qualities in people, and refuse to let gossip or your own bad moods tune you to channel N, which only looks for faults. So, we've learned that all success is built on the support of others. But support is useless if you don't do anything. How do we translate all this positive thinking into real-world results? Let's find out in the next chapter.
Ideas are worthless without action. The world is full of passivationists, people who don't. But success belongs to the activationists, or the doers. You must get the action habit. The first rule is to stop waiting for conditions to be perfect, because they never will be. Expect obstacles and solve them as they arise. Don't let over-preparedness become a form of procrastination. The second rule is that action cures fear. Inaction and waiting feed fear. If you're afraid to do something, the only cure is to go out and do it. The fear will disappear. Finally, you don't need to wait for inspiration. You can move the spirit yourself by starting mechanically. Just begin the physical motions of a task, pick up the pencil, dial the phone, walk to the door, and your mind will engage. Think in terms of now. Later is a failure word. Be an I'm starting right now person. The key is to stop waiting and start doing. Action is the final step that brings ideas to life. But what happens when we take action and we fail? What do we do when we fall flat on our face? Let's find out in the next chapter.
The biggest difference between successful and unsuccessful people is how they respond to setbacks. Defeat is inevitable, but it's also just a state of mind. The first step to turning defeat into victory is to salvage something from every setback. When you lose, learn. Analyze the failure like a scientist. Find the lesson and apply it. Second, be your own constructive critic. Don't blame others. That's destructive. Seek out your own faults and weaknesses so you can correct them. Third, stop blaming luck. Blaming luck teaches you nothing. Research the setback to find the real cause. Finally, you must blend persistence with experimentation. Don't just persist in the same failed approach. Stay persistent in your goal, but be willing to experiment with new approaches until you find one that works. And in every situation, look for the good side. You see what you expect to see. Setbacks, then, are just lessons in disguise. They're part of the journey. But what is the journey for? What's the destination that pulls us through all this effort and failure? Let's find out in the next chapter.
You can't get anywhere if you don't know where you're going.
Goals are essential for growth because they provide direction and energy. You must create a clear image of the person you want to be 10 years from now, breaking your plan down into 3 departments: work, home, and social. But the most powerful thing a goal does is act as your automatic pilot. When you surrender to your desire and let a goal obsess you, it sinks into your subconscious. That goal will then automatically guide you to make the right decisions to stay on course. You achieve this big goal one step at a time. Focus on the next mile, not the whole 140-mile journey. And finally, you must invest in yourself to reach your goals. This means investing in education that develops your thinking and idea starters like books that feed your mind. A clear, long-term goal is the automatic pilot for your life, guiding you one step at a time. This is the mechanism for individual success. But how do you translate that personal success into leadership? Let's find out in the final chapter. Achieving high-level success requires leadership, which is the ability to gain the cooperation of others. This is a skill built on 4 principles. First, trade minds with the people you want to influence. See things through their eyes, not just your own. Second, be human. Ask, what is the human way to handle this? Reject being a dictator or a cold rule-book operator. Treat your subordinates with dignity and respect. Third, think progress. Be a progressive, not a status quoer. Set high standards because your team will eventually become a carbon copy of you. Finally, take time out to confer with yourself. Leaders use managed solitude to do their super thinking. You must spend time alone, free from distractions, to tap your supreme creative power and find the best solutions. And those are the core principles for thinking like a leader. In fact, they wrap up the entire philosophy of the magic of thinking big. So, what is the magic of thinking big? As we've seen, it's not magic at all. It's a conscious, practical, step-by-step system. It begins with the foundational belief that you can succeed, which acts as the thermostat for your entire life. This belief gives you the strength to cure yourself of excusitis, the failure disease of making excuses about your health, intelligence, age, or luck. With that disease cured, you build unshakable confidence, not by waiting, but by taking action, which is the only known cure for fear. You then upgrade your mind by using a big thinker's vocabulary, managing your environment to go first class, and harnessing your creativity. You learn that your success is ultimately lifted by others, so you make your attitudes your allies, making them feel important and practicing generous listening. Finally, you harness all this by setting a clear 10-year goal that acts as an automatic pilot, guiding you to turn every defeat into a victory and to think like the leader you are capable of becoming. The magic isn't in just wishing, it's in the thinking that leads to doing.
Ultimately, the magic of thinking big is a call to action. Think big, and you'll live big. What was the one idea from this summary that hit you the hardest? Is it the need to cure excusitis, or the idea of action as the cure for fear? Let me know your biggest takeaway in the comments below. If you found this summary valuable, please hit the like button and subscribe to ReadWiser for more book summaries that help you improve yourself. Thanks for watching.